Hello and welcome, I'm Wick, and today I will be reviewing the final set of cards for the new Legends of Runeterra expansion, Fate's Voyage Onward, which will be coming to us tomorrow, September 13th, 2023. And the next champion, I think as a lot of us know, is going to be Volibear. So let's go ahead, we're going to check out the champion reveal video, and then we'll get into the cards. Alright, let's go.
Who dares challenge the wild?
Ooh. Oh my god, a 9 mana 10/10. Okay. Alright, we got the Titanic landmark, the Sigil of the Storm. Right. Rhond makes it. Janna, ooh, beautiful.
Your rage will leave you nothing.
Rhond, I mean, two stack right there into a 3 stack. Pretty
Place your
good.
faith in me, and your destiny shall unfold.
Janna, I beg you, reveal my
Divine
path to
Whirlwind,
me.
what a card. Oh, but we got the burst combat trick. 3 HP.
Hold fast to your hope
Ooh,
in me and
3 HP's a
in one
lot.
another.
Alright, there's the profit from yesterday. Look at that stack. That's 5. That's a 4-cost Volibear.
More than destroy Volibear.
Oh, wow. Oh, and
Harder, Janna.
these skills just clearing the board. What's going on?
What is water but ice that is weak?
There can be no ice without water, Volibear.
Oh my god. Fallen water soft. Volibear, what a Giga Chat. Wait, Volibear level up. Oh, there's Neela. Ooh.
Shall remain.
Woo. He's ginormous. 11-11. Overwhelm. Okay, we got some big expensive spells going on. Oh my god. That was a huge AoE spell. And here we have another big spell.
You cannot overcome me.
Cytheria. And the skills again.
From our foes.
Ooh, oh,
Breaks all.
brutal. Oh, and here's all the cards. Here's a shot of the Volibear package. But there's going to be a little spoiler. So let's see what happens.
Do not fear the rapture of conquest. It blinds me not.
Is that Bilgewater? Where is that? Is that Ionia? Where is that going? Some islands onto the side? Interesting. I'm not too familiar with the world, but let's go ahead and get into these cards. All right. So let's start with the bear himself. Volibear. Volibear, 9 mana 10/10. 9 mana 10/10. Freljord champion. Elemental skill, play effect. Play Relentless Storm 3 times. Each one targets a different random enemy or the enemy nexus, if none. Relentless Storm. Oh, okay. So here's Relentless Storm over here. Relentless Storm is an elemental skill that says deal 4 to a unit. If it's dead or gone, deal 2 to the enemy. Burn, baby. Let's go. That's fucking. There we go. That's sick. Volibear's a burn champion, confirmed. That's sick. So he plays 3 of those and clears your enemy board or deals damage to the enemy nexus on play. And then round end, if you have dealt 50 plus damage, level up. Ooh. That's not. Round end, you have to have had 50. So you summon him and then he has to survive until the end of the turn, which is really interesting, right? So he's going to be hanging out as a 10/10 level 1 version for a while. And then I mean look, his Relentless Storm, right? If they have 3 units, that's going to be 12 damage right there. And that's going to be like 1/5 of his level up condition. Ooh. Deal. Yeah, that's pretty sick. Dealt 3 damage. So when he levels up, he gains Overwhelm. He gains Overwhelm, so he's gonna be killing games. And then so he still has the play effect of Relentless Storm 3 times, but he also does that on attack. So on play and attack, he's gonna be putting those Relentless Storms on the stack. and really going to be dealing a lot of damage. That's going to be a lot of burn, bro. I mean, this is an 11-11 with overwhelm, you know what I'm saying? Oh, and the other allies have overwhelm? Game ender. Game ender. They had a 5 mana Volibear in the trailer. This thing's crazy. Titanic units are gonna be coming down and ending the game like crazy, dude. Wow. Play Relentless Storm 3 times and other allies have overwhelm. What a champion. We love a champion who attacks. We love an attacking champion. We love overwhelm. We love overwhelm. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Sick. Sickening. This is a sick champion. Wow. Relentless Storm is nuts, dude. 4 damage to a unit is actually like so significant. That's a lot. That's a lot. 4 is a huge health cut or health breakpoint in Legends of Runeterra. So, wow, Volibear seems super cool. I don't even think he's that hard to level up, I'll be honest, because like damage is also like fight combat damage, right? Like that counts. So this guy should be leveling up super easy, especially, oh my goodness, that's sick. Yeah, Volibear is gonna be super sick. Very cool. I'm not even a fan of like big units. That's like not even my style, but he seems fun to play. He seems fun to play. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. This is Stormbringer, Volibear's champion spell. It's an 8 mana elemental slow spell that says deal 4 to all units except Titanic allies. Okay, so you're kind of keeping your own Titanic allies healthy, and you know that's important, right? Because if an ally has 8 HP and that's how it's being Titanic, any damage to it is going to take it off of the Titanic level, so it won't be proccing any of your additional effects. So I do think that keeping your own Titanic allies safe from your spell, but dealing 4 to all units is like really significant. Obviously this is like a really big avalanche, right? But dealing 4 is no joke. Like any wide board is completely dead, and this can actually hit like a lot of mid-sized boards, especially after some damage. But it is 8 mana, and I think like for a lot of big boards that you would want to deal with, you can just play something like Buried in Ice instead. So I don't know if we'll be seeing this card being played main deck as Stormbringer, but I do think that it's a very good Volibear spell. Like this could level up Volibear, right? If one is in play, it just deals 4 to an entire board. That's a lot of damage, and that's a lot of level up progress. So yeah, I think Stormbringer is all right. 8 mana is a lot. 8 mana is expensive, but it is elemental, so it can be buffed by Deluge, and you know, kind of does have any synergies with other elemental cards. So dealing 4 damage to everything is pretty good. I think that's crazy. Yeah, I think this is a strong spell. I don't think it's gonna be main deckable, or maybe if it is like a single one. But I think there's other options, especially in Freljord, for big boards that you, like I said, Bird and Ice is just way too premium and too similar to this. All right, so from Stormbringer, let's go ahead and move on to Clash of Giants. Clash of Giants is a 16 mana. 16 mana. That's a lot of mana, man. 16 mana. Summon 2 random Titanic followers. That's a lot of variability. That's 2 random. Okay, so summon 2 random Titanic followers. I cost 1 less. This counts. I cost 1 less for each elemental spell or elemental skill that you've played this game. Max of 10. So it can only go down to 6 at the least. Summon 2 random Titanic followers is scary, man. Like there's a lot of options in that pool, right? There's a lot of units with 8 or more attack. There's a lot of units with 8 or more defense or HP. That's kind of funny. I think a 6 mana 2 Titanics is nuts, and I don't think 10 elemental spells or skills is that difficult. Volibear plays 3, you know what I mean? So interesting. This card reminds me of Field Rush, right? Except Field Rush was a very not linear, but yeah, it was pretty linear, right? You just played to your Field of Rush and then summoned your big champions, right? And I think that I like that this card is more tied to Titanic and to Elemental in a little bit more of a less generic game plan. Like Field Rush was way too generic in that it just made all of Freljord just play that stall ramp Field of Rush playstyle, and it kind of like ruined the identity and the region as a whole, right? So I do like that this spell is very powerful, but also still very niche. I think it's cool. I think it's really funny. Someone through Titanic followers is gonna be super fun. Like there's gonna be a lot of videos, a lot of high rolls, a lot of low rolls. I think this is just a very exciting card for people to play. And you know what? If you're in Eternal and you're playing Targon's Peak, man, you can get a 0 mana Clash of Giants, and that's hot. You know what I'm saying? That's super hot. I think that'd be pretty gross at the end of the day. 6 mana is not that expensive. 6 mana is not that expensive. You know, you 6 mana, you just play this with Jace. You just, you know, you double that up, get 2 random Titanic followers. There we go. Easy. You know what I'm saying? Simple. Man. Clash of Giants, elemental spell. Maybe this is good. I don't know. Nah, it has to be good. I think this is gonna be really good in elemental decks. I think this is gonna be really good. Like, you don't even have to be playing Titanic. You can just be playing elemental decks, right? Because like you just a 6 mana summon 2 random Titanic is like a good. That's actually a maybe this deck. Maybe this constraint of elemental spells or skills is not enough, but I could see this just kind of being slotted into anything that has. If you can play 10 elemental spells quickly, and turbo this down to 6 mana, I think this card is really crazy, actually. Oh, that's a really interesting concept. I think that there's a lot of. I wonder if there's a lot of like cheap elemental spells or a lot of cheap ways to proc elemental skills to turbo discount this. I think that'd be really fun, and I think that'd be really if that's good. I think you might need to increase the cost of this card, which is ironic to say for a 16 cost card. But okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the next row. We have Berserker Ursine again. We reviewed this card yesterday. It's the 6 mana 5/3 for Freljord that when you play a spell or skill, summon a Sigil of the Storm. I bet if this card's broken, they'll just say when you play an elemental spell or elemental skill, because I think that having this proc on any spell is kind of scary. There's a lot of ways for you to just spam a lot of spells, get like a really big Sigil of the Storm, and then just like bring out, like we saw in the video, and obviously like the dev videos are like super cheesy, and like they like, you know, they kind of make a perfect world for the demonstration. But I do think that seeing that Volibear come down with a 5 Sigil stack, I don't know, maybe it's not that hard and you're just going to be getting like really cheap Titanic units. I think that'd be really fun and really cool. But I could see if this card gets out of hand, I could see them changing it over to an elemental requirement, as the rest of the theme and the package is. But we'll see. Hopefully it's not too powerful, but maybe it is, and maybe it's fun and cool that it's powerful, because you know Freljord hasn't had too many meta defining decks, but it has been around for a little bit. It's doing all right in my opinion. I think a lot of people think it's doing terrible, but I think it's all right. But okay, let's move on to the next card, and that's going to be Flamecaller Caprine, a 4 mana 3/2 tough unit for Freljord that says when you play an elemental spell or skill, forge me. Ooh, forge me. Ooh, any elemental. Wow. This thing's going to get really big. I think this thing's going to get really big really fast. I think this card is pretty low key. I think it's going to get huge. And you know what? Volibear is going to give it overwhelm. Damn, this card's gonna be scary. I think this card is gonna be scary. You drop one Volibear with this card, that's +3 forges. You know what I'm saying? This is a 6/5 with tough and overwhelm. That's crazy. I think this card is really gonna be powerful. And then you just drop an equipment on this, right? And then suddenly you're just buffing that equipment up and making a huge, oh wow. Wow, this card is going to be really good with Ornn decks. I think this card's going to be really good with Ornn decks. That's crazy. Yeah, I could totally see this card being powerful in Ornn decks and helping you get really, really big weapons, you know? I think you drop the Overwhelm weapon on this, you play a bunch of elemental spells and elemental skills, and next thing you know, like, you have like a really, really tall Overwhelm unit with tough, and then that Overwhelm weapon can just kind of be slotted in anywhere. Wow, this card seems really powerful. I think this card's going to be very good, especially if there's elemental spells that you're just playing incidentally that are good for any game plan. Like, I think that this is going to be, we'll see this played. We'll see this played. I'd put money on this card being pretty good. Maybe not, but like, cause like, look, like if this card gets out of control at all, right, it's gonna have, you're gonna have to spend like very expensive removal on this. And if your opponent is spending expensive removal on your Caprine, they're not spending removal on your Volibear. You know, they're not spending removal for your Ursine. And I think that this being a potential threat in elemental decks and equipment decks, I think it's low key for that. I think this card is going to be really powerful. 4 mana 3/2 with tough. That's kind of scary. That's pretty scary. But yeah, I think this card's gonna be good. I think card's gonna be good in a lot of Freljord decks. And I mean, you know, Freljord really needs 4 mana units, I think. So good card. Good card. It looks like we have Rhond, the Magma Serpent once again from yesterday. The 7 mana 8/6 that summons 3 Sigils of the Storms. I mean, we're talking about sigils being really easy to generate, so maybe Rhond is pretty cheap, and by being so cheap helps you develop 2 units on like a same big turn, and then, you know, these offerings are just gonna, or excuse me, these sigils will just continue to build on themselves. And you know what? Volibear is gonna be giving it overwhelm. This is a 7/8/6, 7 mana 8/6 with overwhelm. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I mean, this thing should have overwhelm. Look at this guy. Like, if this doesn't have overwhelm, like, what does? You know what I'm saying? Like, what else does this scream except for overwhelm? That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. All right. Yeah, Rhond, we talked about it a lot yesterday. It's all right. It's all right. And now we have confirmation that sigils stack, as we saw in the demonstration. So pretty good. Pretty good. Summoning 3 sigils is pretty good and helps you continue developing big units at a little bit of an accelerated pace, which I think is what this game plan is all about. All right. And so now let's go ahead and move on to Sky Splitter, the 2 mana burst spell from a Freljord, which is give an ally +1/+3 this round. So +1 attack, +3 health. And it is also elemental. 3 HP is a lot. I mean, the fact that it's elemental is also pretty good, right? It's going to be discounting your Clash of Giants, and it's going to be buffing up your Caprine. And, you know, you can get another one with that Nyla support card. You can just get another free one of these. I think this is a really solid combat trick. You know, I look at this and honestly, Monofiora support, right? Yeah. I mean, it's more expensive than Elixir of Iron, of course, and the 1 attack maybe isn't worth an extra mana, and maybe the elemental tag isn't worth 1 extra mana. I guess maybe the only reason you're playing it is because it's elemental. +3 HP is pretty okay. I don't think that this is bad. Yeah, this has to be okay. I think this is going to be fine, especially because it's an elemental spell. You know, it's 3 HP. It's a pretty good combat trick. I think this will be played in a lot of Freljord decks in Standard. I think, you know, since we don't have Troll Chant in Standard anymore, maybe Sky Splitter is what we're playing instead. You know what I mean? But I think it's, you know, it's not too exciting of a card, but it is a card for sure. It's definitely one that I think you'll be seeing at either 2 or 3 slots in a deck, especially ones that like to be playing elemental spells. Yeah, I think it's solid. I think it's solid. Nothing too remarkable, but also just good. Just good. Okay, and then finally, we get out of the way here a little bit. Finally, we have Invocation of Thunder, a 3-mana slow spell from Freljord. Draw 1, summon a Sigil of the Storm. So it just summons a ramp, you know, Titanic landmark for you and draws 1. It's also an elemental spell, so you can get another copy of this from that unit, and it'll also be buffing up your other big elemental win cons like Clash of Giants and, you know, Caprine, as all elemental spells will be doing. I think this card's fine. I think it reminds me of the slow spell that Freljord currently has with that summons the 2/2 overwhelm unit. But you know, this one, it's cheaper obviously, and that's because it only discounts your Titanic unit. So it's like ramp, but more limited and more specific, which I think is good, and you know, allows them to make these effects a little bit more cheaper. So I think Invocation of Thunder is fine. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, I mean, solid card. You'll probably play it in elemental decks. You'll play it in sigil decks. You know, anything with Titanic. You just kind of want to stack those up. And the fact that this draws 1 is just a nice plus, of course. 3 mana is pretty cheap as well. I think that's very affordable. And I think the fact that, yeah, I mean, that's not bad, right? So if you think about it, this is like a 2 mana spell because it summons a sigil, which discounts a future card, right? So you can think about it as like a 2 mana, slow speed, draw 1. +1 elemental for your Clash of Titans, +1 elemental for your Caprine. I mean, I think that's pretty good. Actually, you know what? 3 mana is pretty good. I think this card's like super solid. I'll be honest. Yeah, this card's probably a little bit more solid than I was first thinking, but interesting. Well, that's all the cards for today. Let's do a quick run through of the cards now that we reviewed today. Volibear's package, pretty cool. The Titanic champions and Titanic allies getting a lot more support, and you know, kind of fleshing out that package. I'm sure there are so many Titanic units that I'm not even considering that have existed throughout the game with 8 HP or 8 power. So really exciting to see what, you know, this pack, because I think this package kind of just slots in with whatever you want. Like, I could see this being played with Ornn, right? You don't even need to play Volibear if you want to play Ornn, but you can still run, you know, Berserker Ursine and get those discounts for your Ornn and other big cards. I think that's totally cool. So let's quickly run through the cards from today. So first we had Volibear, and Volibear was the 9 mana 10/10 from Freljord. On play, he's going to activate 3 Relentless Storms that deal 4 to a unit and deal 2 to the enemy nexus instead. So he's going to play 3 of those. And then he levels up once you've dealt 50 damage and the round ends. I think that's not going to be a terribly difficult level up animation. I think he's going to be flipping pretty well. And especially with these discounts, I think Volibear is going to be threatening a lot as soon as he comes down. Like, that's like Relentless Storm is 12 damage to the board, you know, 6 damage to face. You love to see it. You love to see it. And then you have Volibear level 2, which gains Overwhelm and gives everybody Overwhelm. That's nuts. That's super nuts. I don't know. That's super powerful, right? I think that Volibear is what you want from a late game champion that's so big, is just to kill your opponent. Like, he does something on play, he does something on attack, he buffs other allies. Like, look at this thing. It's a 9 mana 11/11. You know, I don't think you're ever surviving if this gets any if this gets to live more than one action. You're dead. You're dead. Like, it's insane. So I think Volibear is going to be a very good champion, very powerful. I think that he's going to open up a lot for Freljord and he's going to contribute very heavily to this new Titanic play pattern and, you know, archetype that we're developing. I think that this is going to be super cool. You know, seeing a discounted Volibear coming down at 5 for 5 mana, that's going to be super crazy. And then, you know, you play this with Janna, right? And then you discount it even further. Man, see? Janna Volibear deck. There we go. Janna levels up off of the sigils. All right. And so we talked about Relentless Storm, the skill that Volibear plays. It's burn. It's burn. It levels up Jhin. It levels up Annie. That's burn, baby. You know what I'm saying? It's good. Then we had Volibear Stormbringer, the champion spell for Volibear. Deal 4 to all units except for Titanic allies. Like a big ol' avalanche. I pointed out earlier that it's kind of competing in a slot or in a similar style for Buried in Ice, but it is nice that this doesn't damage your own Titanic allies. You know, helping them stay healthy and, you know, staying Titanic if they only have 8 HP. So yeah, great. I mean, it's a pretty good champion spell. I don't know if it's a good spell overall, but I think it's a good champion spell. I think it's a good champion spell. It's fine. All right, and then we also had Clash of Giants, the 16 mana slow spell that says summon 2 random Titanic followers, and it costs 1 less for each elemental spell and each elemental skill that you've played this game. So I think that this card will be getting discounted little by little throughout the game while you're doing a bunch of other things, and then next thing you know, you're gonna play a 6 mana Clash of Giants and summon 2 giant finishers. I think this is a great finisher for Freljord. I think it's super fun. Obviously, it's really cool how they have given elementals and Titanics a sort of big finisher. Reminded me of FTR, but not as, you know, linear. You kind of have to work for it a little bit more with this one, right? But I think this is rad. I think this is rad. I think this is really cool. I think it's gonna be fun with Targon's Peak and Eternal as well. Keck W, but cool spell, cool finisher, very cool concept. I think it's gonna be very exciting. Can't wait to see the highlights from this card. Then we quickly retouched on Berserker Ursine, which is probably going to be a very broken engine for the, you know, Titanic archetype. Just being able to spam out a lot of Sigil of the Storms and really start packing and piling on your discounts. I think that card is going to be pretty powerful, and we're going to see it in a lot of decks. I think we could even see it in something like, you know, Ornn, Jax Ornn. You know, you just play this and then discount your Ornn. I don't think that it's, I mean, maybe not Jax Ornn because there's not too many spells, but the fact that it works with any spell or any skill is pretty scary. I think that this card is going to be doing a lot of work in the first couple weeks for Freljord. A lot of work. This card's going to be busted. Speaking of busted cards, we also had Flamecaller Caprine, the 4 mana 3/2 tough that forges itself every time you play an elemental spell or elemental skill. I think that this card's gonna go crazy for Freljord. The fact that it just forges itself, so that means it's flexible. It's not just gain +1/+1, right? This can buff up a weapon, and if you're buffing up a weapon, that is long-term value, baby. Obviously, the game just got a lot more weapon destruction, but I think if your opponent is spending removal and spending time taking care of your Caprine, that just means that they won't have time to do anything about your Rhond or anything about your Volibear. You know what I'm saying? I think Caprine is sick. I think Caprine is super sick, for sure. All right, and then we had Rhond again. The 7 mana 8/6, summon 3 sigils. Pretty good card. A little, you know, just a pretty vanilla, you know, Titan unit. Discounts itself. and then helps you discount other ones. It nicely gets overwhelmed from Volibear, which is really fun. So pretty sick card. Pretty normal, pretty base. Maybe you could see it just getting cut from Titanic decks because, you know, you just don't really need 8/6, but who knows, maybe this card will get discounted so well, and then the fact that it brings up 3 more discounts will also be good. So maybe it'll be fine. I don't think it's bad. I think it's just fine. We had Sky Splitter, the 2 mana burst spell, 1/3, give an ally +1/+3 this round. Elemental spell, really good combat trick, really solid combat trick. I think it's really something that the region needs. You know, every region just needs combat tricks at 2 mana. I think this is a decent one. It's an elemental that will proc your big finisher like Clash of Clans and, you know, activate your Caprine. I think that's a pretty good card, so it's fine. And then speaking of pretty good cards, just fine, we have Invocation of Thunder as our final card of the day, the 3 mana slow spell that draws you a card and also summons a sigil. So just a way for you to sort of ramp your big units with, you know, 3 mana is really affordable. I think 3 mana is super affordable. So I can really see this card seeing a lot of play now that I think about it. So, but that's it for the cards and for today. The Volibear package looking sick, looking pretty cool. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in today. I very much appreciate you and your support. If you would please leave me a like and a comment, that'd be much appreciated. Would love to hear from you. Love to hear your thoughts on Volibear. You can follow me on any platform. I am Wickhelm on pretty much anything. You can browse the links to my other social media platforms below in the description. I also invite you to join the Always Be Gaming Discord server. We would love to have you hang out, share the pictures of your food, and tell us what you feel about the new cards. We'd love to hear from you and would love to have you be a part of the community. So once again, thank you all for tuning in. The next expansion comes out tomorrow. So I hope everyone is excited for that. And until next time, stay saucy. I don't know. Thanks. Peace.